Fancy entrances. What's up, brother?
Here we go, man. Take a seat.
What up, Mike Hitt? Yeah, you like that?
Awesome.
Yeah. You're watching that. We don't hit your head, probably. We're live.
Yeah, we're all rolling here.
Yeah, we're live.
There you are. There's your seat.
Let's go.
Oh, the camera's on me there.
Yeah,
Good.
what's going on, dog?
Finally get to meet you, bro.
Nice to meet you,
Good
man.
to see you.
Good to see you too, brother.
Oh, good. No headphones. I love
No
podcasts
headphones.
like that.
Yeah, no.
I was just on the Sykes podcast. He had headphones when he first started. Now he doesn't. I'm like, man, it's so much better.
Well, I tried, but there's too much of an echo.
Oh, yeah.
I need a
Was it?
faster.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
That's like when people were in the booth recording, I always tell them, they're like, can you mute my voice? I'm like, no, you just got to take one on and one off, you know?
Oh, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
That's why you always see him doing that shit.
Always,
I never knew that because there's an echo.
Like, it's like 250 milliseconds.
Okay.
It's really, I mean, I record so much that to me it's like, I know it's there, but like my brain's compensated for it.
Yeah, you're
So I'm not
used
thinking
to
about it. Yeah, but brand new
right.
people,
We'll fuck them up.
It
dude,
fucks them up.
you would think
yeah.
it was 5 seconds off. I'm
Really?
like, dude, it's not that
It's
bad.
not that bad, yeah. What's up, Mike Hitt?
But before we get started,
Yeah.
welcome to the Church of Lie.
Yeah, welcome.
Yes.
What the fuck but lie?
Episode 11.
11.
There we go.
1-1.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
11,
double
right?
digits
We were
are
just
good
talking
things.
about episode 1.
You know, it's crazy. We disc golfed yesterday, and our score was -1 + 1 and 11.
Really?
3 people. Wow, this is meant to be.
This is cool, yeah.
Yeah, that was the first thing I
Absolutely,
noticed
dude.
yesterday. I was like, this is a weird score.
Yeah.
Where do you disc golf?
We disc golf everywhere. We usually play Shenley.
Okay.
It's like, I mean, you're
yeah,
welcome to
because you're
come.
down there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
I
they
mean,
have
you
Mount
guys were
Hill
a
up here.
fucking road trip for me, for real.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, to come up
man,
here.
like 45 minutes.
Where do you live again?
Like West Mifflin area.
Oh, okay. You're on
So
the
it
other
was like-
side. Yeah, right.
I stopped and got snacks, drinks. I was like, yeah, this is going to be a little bit.
yeah,
I put a
well, it's gonna be
podcast
a little bit of, yeah, and you don't know when the next time you're going to eat is.
yeah.
But to show our support, you know what I mean? Because we
Having the sheets right there, I'd be in trouble.
Yeah.
support.
That's
I
so-
mean, he
yes.
grew up here and that fucker was up there.
We got to show a little support for our man.
I love this. I should have brought an MCM shirt. I wasn't even thinking.
I need to get a shirt from you.
You don't need one. Oh, yeah, I see.
I'm so
Yeah.
Berg. That was the first time I saw this too, Mike Hitt. I've never seen
Oh,
that
the I'm so
before.
Berg shirt?
Yeah, that's
You know,
sick.
a lot of people. You either didn't hear about it or you're like, people always go, you made that shirt? Because I moved away from it. So, like,
Yeah.
I just discontinued it. It was a phase in MCM where, like, that was the first MCM thing that I did, right?
Okay.
So that was, like, 2007 going into 2008, right? So
Right.
that's 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and around that same time was when I thought of the MCM thing.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay.
What does that stand for? Did you say?
Middle class millionaire. Love life, live rich is like the slogan. Because it's not
alright.
about money, it's about, like, a mindset, right?
Yeah, right.
And
I like that.
I'm like, I made a song called "I'm So Berg," but you know me. Am I too loud?
Yeah.
You know me, the business mindset. I'm like, well, that was like the true. I've always had a business mindset, but that was the start of like my journey into capitalism, I guess.
Okay, right.
So I'm like,
so you've always been creative.
yeah. So I'm like, okay, I need something that goes beyond this song. You know, like I'm a musician at heart, so like I'm always
Yeah.
making music, like product like that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, what can I do? Because some people, you know, they don't care about rap music, hip hop music,
Right.
and everyone's into like shirts and unity.
Yeah.
And then that was before. I mean, now it's like, dude, everyone has a goddamn Pittsburgh shirt. I always say that now. Like
Yeah.
they like leech off the Pittsburgh like thing.
I wanted
Yeah.
to talk about that.
Good. And when
Okay.
I did this, I wasn't trying to leech off the Pittsburgh thing. I'm born and raised in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, and people always say to me, this is why on the back, it's all
Yeah, it's
90
got all the
places,
hoods.
right?
Yeah,
Well,
right.
it's everywhere that's considered Pittsburgh because
Okay.
when I was a kid, we were real poor. So, like, every year we moved. Like, every year. We'd be
Yeah.
like, be here, and then something would happen. We'd either get kicked out, my parents would be back on rent, or some shit like that.
Did you stay in the same area?
No, we always
You went
moved all
over.
around, like
Okay.
around the entire city. So people are always like, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "I'm literally like
From
just from
Pittsburgh,
Pittsburgh."
yeah,
and then
right.
that's why I did that because I'm like, okay, I need to represent where I'm from. And it's funny, right? Because
Yeah.
half the people loved it,
Yeah.
but then half the people, they're not like cultured like that. So they're like, can you make a shirt with just my neighborhood on the
Yeah,
back?
right.
And I'm
right,
like,
well,
no, dude.
I got a shirt that says straight out of Wexford.
Yeah.
Because that's where I grew up. It wasn't Pittsburgh. It was Wexford.
Yeah.
If you notice, there's no terrible towel, because we're going to talk about this show.
Yeah, great.
There's no terrible towel here.
Yeah,
right?
there's no Pittsburgh. We never talk about the sports or
I
anything.
always felt like there's something about black and gold that segregates from the rest of America, the country.
Yeah.
Here we go, Steelers, here we go. Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl.
Why you pouring me? I'm right.
Yeah, it makes it just like
Yeah.
a Pittsburgh thing, and I want to be bigger than a Pittsburgh
Yeah,
thing.
right.
He does too.
Yeah.
And you kind of, I think...
Yeah.
So, like, after you put that out, that was kind of like your roots, and now you're trying to expand
My
into
roots. And then,
greater
and then
things.
the next thing was, like, so I DJ'd, I shot videos,
Yeah.
I produced, I went to shows, talked to labels. I was completely engulfed in, like, the music life,
scene.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I knew people from the music scene, everything from, like, the Hill District, the Garfield, to the nerdy rap, to the battle rap, to the trap rap. Like, I knew all these
There was
people.
battles in Pittsburgh?
Oh, there still is. It's huge.
Is it
Oh, my
really?
God.
See, I'm ignorant as shit when
Dude,
it comes to
yeah,
the
he
hip
knows
hop in
nothing.
Pittsburgh.
Oh,
I know
man, let me
nothing,
tell you.
dude.
Zero.
That sounds like the
Yeah.
other night on Friday when I was like, there's more events than I could ever make it
I
to.
saw that on Facebook.
There were so
yeah.
many. Dude, there was an event probably every 2 minutes if you drove. There was
Yeah.
an event every 2 minutes.
And I had to say
Really?
my dickhead comment. For people watching, if you don't know
Yeah.
me, I'm probably the guy that turns a post into 108
Yeah.
comment.
Yeah, right,
I'm
you
that
say
guy.
one thing.
you know what
I
I'm
gotta
saying?
tell him,
That
I'm like, dude, don't start on this post. He's like, all right,
Yeah,
I'm not
I'm
gonna
not
start.
gonna be like, just don't. You
Because
know,
you just like to stir shit.
sometimes.
Yeah, but look, back on track. Just to answer your question, like, get you to the end of this, like,
Ooh, I
intro.
like that.
Right,
Back
right.
on track.
Back
Is-
on
what we
track.
want.
Yeah, we need to be back on
track.
track.
We get
Yeah,
way
right.
off track.
Yeah, we do.
is so in about 2010 or so, I'm like, okay, then what's the next logical step for all this information I have, right?
Right.
Whether it be running a business, being an artist, like I had all that to be a successful artist, right? Or business owner or whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, they say build off your strengths. And I think that's what a lot of people don't do. They don't build off their strengths.
Yeah,
and my
that
strength
makes
was
sense.
naturally, I mean, I could have got a union job. I could have
Gonna sell out like me.
I could have went and got,
Yeah, the union gig.
or I could have went back to school. And what happened was, make a long story short, I did that for about 8 months, right? This
Went
was
back to school?
No, right before I opened the studio.
Yeah.
I started driving. I got my CDL. Started driving buses. Right. This was God. Like everything I'm at. Shout out Drake. This is God's plan. Right.
Yeah, right.
And let me tell you something. For 8 months, it took me about 3-4 months. I was studying this. CDL test was like crazy, like 4 sections. I was beating the books. Finally got it. Got the job. Was working for 2-3 months because
Is it a big company?
yeah, I worked for
Like
First
good
Student.
benefits?
Yeah.
For which one?
First Student. So I drove for like
okay.
high schools and stuff.
Yeah, right.
I was young though, dude. I was like 26.
Yeah, right.
So I'm like
Little
the
horsepower.
youngest by like 25 years where I worked,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. The reason why I did it was so the girl I'm with, I've been with her forever. We come from two drastically different areas of life, right?
Okay.
So, like, I literally come from nothing, right?
Yeah.
And I literally, like, 15 years ago, I was homeless. I had one box of things like this. That's all I had in my whole life. Didn't have a car, didn't have a place to live, didn't have anything, right? And that's when I met her, right?
Yeah.
And her dad looked out for me, and her dad is like the blue collar, worked in the mill for 30 years. He's retired
Yeah,
now.
dude, the Pittsburgh
the mom
spirit,
cut
work
hair.
hard, yeah, the work
they
ethic.
treated everyone right. She got 3 brothers, 70 cousins, like,
Yeah,
right.
right.
And then I come in, and I'm like, my family's on drugs. We don't have no money. I'm homeless. So we met like this, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like, after a while, where I was hanging around them, and it's great because now.
And you were like an aspiring artist at this point? when
No,
you
I
got
was
into it?
always an artist and doing shows and stuff,
Right.
but I was
DJing and stuff.
I was
were
DJing. I was
DJing.
doing anything. Like
So you didn't start the whole CDL process until you met this girl?
Yes.
Okay.
Until about 4 or 5 years in, because it's great because my relationship with her dad now, he's like my best friend because we were able to learn life from each other, right?
Yeah,
and at
dude,
that
that's
time,
the best shit,
Yeah, and
right?
he's really awesome. And we both, we're even like with his kids, we're both like, you need to get that shit done. He's like, I know, so it's like we're friends, right?
Yeah.
And but there was a time where like, so I'm like, I need
Responsibility.
to get responsibility, right? And I'm like, I need to kind of create some foundation, right?
Yeah.
And that was the worst mistake I did for that 8 months to a year. Now he knows that. Her whole family knows that. It's really great because I've gained the respect.
Did you see yourself going down like that blue collar
I did.
thing? You're like, oh my
I did,
gosh,
and I'm like, damn, I'm about to work here for 20 years.
The further you're stuck in that shit,
dude. I was in it, and everyone was so happy. Like, man, you got your seat. You really came from nothing. You're making good money. I was making like $20 an hour. I was like,
right.
I had benefits, all that. I work close to home.
Yeah,
I just got a car, got an apartment,
ethic, right?
all this
Easy
stuff.
way out.
Where's the creativity? Where's the shit that you love to do?
And
right?
8 months in, I was coming home one morning. And because you take a little break, right? Like you drop kids off from school, 3-4 hour break, and you go pick them up. Yeah. Coming home from school in the morning, got into a car accident.
Oh,
Car hits me head on like 50 miles an hour. My car was like a square. I have pictures. I kept my license plate, everything.
Yeah,
put me in a hospital. Broke my hip in 4 places.
Some Kanye through the wire.
Yes, through the hip. Yeah.
Same shit.
And this happened. Yes,
Okay.
and this happened early 2009, like 20 days into the year, right?
Yeah.
And I had only been driving like 3 months, right?
Oh,
so we
shit,
had just
dude, so you were a freshie too.
fresh, right? But before that, for like 2-3 years, I had said, if I could just find like even a place like this, I'm like, if I could find a place to rent to put a studio,
Yeah.
I feel like I would do great, right?
Yeah.
And when that didn't transpire, that's when I got the job driving the buses, right?
Okay, yeah.
And then I got into the car accident, and then that was like God being like, you are wasting your talent.
Yeah,
I did not
dude.
put you through what I put you through and bring you from nothing for you to drive a bus for the next 30 years, die, and that's it.
Right.
Right? So about 2 months in, I'm at home like the whole time, just like this, my leg up,
leg
healing, and my buddy Evan, I tell this story on every goddamn podcast. Every time I meet people, I always show Evan love. Evan was in a band in the building. He's been there. And
Hold on, if you want
Is
to
that
know
the
what,
church
if
or
you want to
whatever?
know what his
The warehouse?
studio is like, just watch Hostel, okay? But every room, instead of a guy cutting up somebody with the
You told me
chainsaw,
about that.
It's a
Everyone's
studio.
doing
It's a studio.
music.
It's a studio.
Yeah,
Yes.
dude,
Instead of
that's
after
cool.
just
Yes,
kinda, like, yeah.
People are scared at first, but then it's like home. I mean, after you're
yeah,
there a
right?
couple times, it's like home.
Jamming out.
Yeah, hanging out,
all
people
over the
smoking,
place.
like
So
talking.
good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's
At
it's
first, you're like, where am I
yeah,
going?
at first,
you know?
every person who comes to me, I've had fathers bring their 12-year-old daughters.
Yeah.
I've had 70-year-old guitar players
the
come,
fuck?
Yeah.
and they're like this, looking at me. But by the end of the set, because when you come into
It's home.
my
We're going to
place-
get it here coming up this shit.
Yes,
I know, right?
yes, but yes, when you come in, you're like. By the time the 3 hours is up, they're like, "Damn, that I feel like I'm at home now."
Oh, really?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
before I get off
There's
track,
good energy in that motherfucker.
You
Evan-
should come over sometime.
I want
yes,
to see
you
it,
should
dude.
come over. Yeah,
I
you'll
wanna
come up
see
next
it.
couple weeks.
He's
Come
never
over.
been in like a
Yeah.
studio, right?
Yeah,
I'll
Yeah,
play
I've
some
seen
unreleased stuff for you and all that.
Yeah, dude, that'd be sick.
But Evan came
Southside.
came to my house. He said, whenever you start walking again, he said, I got this place. I think it'll work out for like you want to put a recording studio.
Yeah.
So I had like 2-3 months to like really think,
Yeah.
And whenever I started walking again, it was like June. It was my birth. I'll never forget because it was June 11th. My birthday's coming up too.
Yeah.
June 11th was my birthday. We went to the movies. I could walk again. I was like, ecstatic. And I was like, you know what? I'm just not going back to work. Yeah. And I told my girl, I'll never forget this shit, right? And
I say that every morning. Then
Yeah.
I fucking go.
Dude, you're trapped.
And I told my girl that, and she was like, well, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going to be the best studio in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And she was like, how are you going to do that? And I was like, I don't know.
You don't
But
know
that's
yet.
what I'm supposed to do.
And you felt right?
It felt
was a
so
feeling,
right.
Yeah.
And when I walked into let me tell you something. Even when you see it now, you would never think that.
Yeah.
When I walked in there, shout out Nick B, my good friend.
Well, there are already people in those rooms.
Yeah, there's people in the rooms,
Okay.
but the building now, I mean, I help manage that place now, so like it's really on the up and up.
Yeah.
But at the time when I got my room,
Yeah.
it was just like a shithole.
Really?
It was shit. This is like a palace compared to what I got.
Really?
Right? Oh my god.
Dude, this shoebox, the church. This
Oh,
place
my
is pretty
God.
rough, dude.
Church.
It's pretty rough up here.
And my
rough
buddy,
church.
my
Yeah,
buddy
yeah.
was Nick. My buddy Nick was like,
character.
Got character.
Yeah, dude, right? Yeah.
my buddy Nick was like, I don't know how we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
He's in the construction. They do roofs. That's what they do all day.
Yeah.
He's like, and him and his brother helped me, the Bozigans, and he was like, I don't know how you're gonna do this, but
Yeah, because they jam out.
Jamming out.
Jamming out. you need a booth.
I need
like
a booth, all that,
They just
yeah.
fucking need a room.
They just need somewhere to throw their drums.
Yeah,
Right.
And
what
they
kind
don't.
of band are they? What kind of
Any band, metal bands, cover bands, acoustic players, like it's just
grunge bands. What happened?
grunge
to grunge?
band. There's grunge in there. There's
Is
like
there?
the weird electronic emo stuff, like where it's electronic and live.
Okay,
Yeah,
after
right,
you
like
finish your
dark.
story, I really want to talk about something.
All right.
Music.
Don't let me get off track.
Yeah, I know.
All right,
we're
look.
at the studio, bro.
And
We're
then
at the
we
studio.
went. And then we went in there, and for like it took me about 6 months to just just be craft. That's one thing. When you come from nothing, you're really crafty, right?
Yeah, dude.
And
What is it?
I'm-
Necessity breeds creativity.
Yes, and that is, I've always been like that. And I had studios before, like I rented people's space like this.
Yeah.
I rented someone's basement, someone's attic.
So
I
you
had
had
one
all
in my
the
apartment.
gear?
I had the gear. Oh yeah, because over the
'Cause you
years,
were
that's what I
DJing
did.
and
So
stuff
I
like
was
that.
having, I had already, by the time I went public, I was already having random people in my house.
Okay.
Like being like, an apartment
the
at
mics
that.
and the fucking band.
I didn't
and the
have a lot,
mixers.
but I had enough.
You had enough.
Yeah.
Like if someone just wanted to come down and lay down a track,
And that's
you
what I
were
was doing.
there.
I'd be like, hey, give me $20, I'll do it.
Come
so
over
then
for an hour. Or
So
some
then
shit.
through the years, I was able, through those years building up to the studio, that was
Yeah.
God's plan again.
Yeah,
Through the years
dude.
leading up to the studio, I was learning Pro Tools. I was learning that you need a good set of speakers. I was learning equalization, reverb, but learning
this
it,
guy
not
knows
just,
all
you
that.
know,
That's what
now,
I've been trying to get
yeah,
into.
nowadays people slap a preset on stuff, right?
Yeah.
And that's the one unique thing about what I do is I don't use any presets. People are like blown away by that. Like, they're like, so what do you, every time people come to the studio, they're like, so what do you do with the EQ? I'm like, I don't know. It depends on what your voice is like, what
Depends
the
on
beat
what
is
you
like.
sound
Like,
like.
yeah,
Yeah,
depending
right,
on
right.
how I need to get it to that end
So that's
product.
like you do like the raw dog mixing type
Every
shit.
time.
Because
every
they'll say
song.
like church.
Yes,
reverb,
church, yes.
Or like
hall.
bathroom.
Bathroom,
hall,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Oh,
Or
and
you
then
can
get those
individually go
different
in.
sounds.
Or the
and-
Or you
EQ
can-
will say like thick vocal, thin vocal,
Oh.
and you could just slap it on. But
So you're straight custom house fucking.
every song, every vocal, every beat, every person, every client, every
Yeah,
song.
Well, I
right.
respect that because for
That's
photography,
cool, man.
that's what I do for editing.
Yes, they use like LUTs.
That's why I like
and
can't
just
do
slap
it
them
anymore.
on.
People just go on Instagram and it looks so good and it annoyed me. It fucking annoys. It took me like a long time to come up with
To
these,
figure
like-
that out.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
just hit fucking.
fucking
Sienna.
Boom, Sienna. Goddamn Sienna.
What are
With
those, the
yellow.
filters?
Yeah, the filter.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
So
get me
you
wrong,
used
I
to do
filter
that
now
shit raw.
too.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
all do now,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah.
Like raw, everything raw.
See, I don't fuck with any of that.
Same with every girl, raw.
Yeah,
It's
raw.
always raw.
dog.
yeah.
Get digging deep.
That's why you're in a position you're in. All
Yeah,
right.
my daughter's down there raw.
Yeah, right. Because you.
But yeah,
brought
fast
raw.
forward to now, and this is where
Yeah,
I'm
no
at.
filters
you know.
in your shorts.
Yeah,
huh?
no filters. In
I'm
there.
So Berg, all the way from I'm So Berg to the studio, and then the MCM. The reason why I haven't told you that was MCM. Doing the MCM was I'll never forget my one friend. I'm talking to her, and she's like, I'm like, man, what am I gonna call a studio? This is when we're like building it out,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking like, you know, the cave, the vault,
Fucking
like,
names, dude.
thinking
Yeah,
things,
Goddamn
right?
names.
Yeah, names. Like
Yeah.
I'm thinking all this stuff, and
Yeah.
she's like, why don't you just call it MCM Studios? And I'm like,
She
and I-
said that.
Yeah, and I looked at her and I was, well, we were on the phone actually,
It's
and I
fucking
looked at the phone and
brilliant.
I'm like, that's genius.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
fine.
like, because people are gonna remember I'm So Berg. MCM's
Yeah,
on
right.
the back of every
MCM's on the
shirt.
back. So it's just middle class millionaire, and that was the mindset.
That was the
you were
mindset,
into.
the brand, the name.
Yeah,
and so
right.
I'm like, okay, I'm
You'd
like,
be just as happy as a fucking millionaire, right? And
MCM
live in the middle
Studios.
class. That's the mindset you're throwing. That's cool, man. I like that shit.
Love
Because
life,
I
love
always
rich.
tell my kids to choose happy.
You came up with
it's
our name.
definitely, yeah, I came up with what the fuck, but why?
that
Yeah,
is genius.
Is
I
it?
love that.
No, it is.
I'm pretty good with coming up
Because
with
I always,
names.
you know me, I'm like, but why? But
Did you
why?
design
Yeah.
the like exclamation point question mark?
all that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was, dude.
That's what I thought about.
Because we were
Genius.
thinking about
What the
names
fuck?
for a long
But
time.
why?
Why?
I know, and like every time we talked, because I was gonna call it like we were
Brothers-in-law.
brothers-in-law, and I was like, no,
No.
because that sounds like lawyers.
Yeah.
you know, like brothers-in-law. Like
Yeah.
that. I was like, that's cheesy.
Right.
I was like, we'll call it the brothers outlaw.
And I was like, no.
Yeah, you're like,
No.
guys,
We
that's
had this
really
on our
cool.
very first podcast on my phone.
On your phone, yeah.
One
and
day
then
we're gonna release it.
the first, yeah, because it was that day that I came up with the name, and you were
Yeah.
coming over, and I
Yeah,
was like, just
yeah.
what the fuck, but why?
It was just, you know, when that name hits, it
That
just
was
hits.
it.
Yeah, it
you
hit.
know?
Yeah. And I
You
told him
stop.
that, and I remember, I'll never forget. You're like, all right, now I'm excited.
Yeah,
I was like,
sometimes
all right,
you need a
cool.
name.
and that's what it's been like here, man. Like we came up with the name, we decided to do it. It actually started with you telling me about Joe Rogan.
Right.
You're like, you gotta listen to this shit because we'd always bullshit whenever we'd see each other.
Yeah.
And then finally it was like, dude, you gotta listen to this dude because I want to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
And I listened to like an hour of it. I was like, dude, we could do that shit.
Wait, you never heard of it until you told him about it?
Yeah.
Dude,
Wow.
I've never like no podcasting or anything.
At this point,
like that.
there's more than you could ever listen to in your whole life.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, I
just
know.
unreal.
Yeah.
And like I was trying to listen to other ones, but I kept hearing shit that I wanted to say.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, that's what I think, and I was like hearing what
It was
I was
annoying
thinking,
you.
and it was annoying the fuck out of me. So I called him. I'm like, dude, we could do this, and he was like,
Right.
yeah, tell me about it.
Good.
So then we started with your phone.
But I struggle with the podcast. You know, it's
What do
it's
you
a
mean?
lot because we're trying to do two things. Like we're parents, we have jobs. We're trying to do this, and then with how sensitive fucking people are,
Doing
I
this.
say one goddamn thing.
Oh,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like, what if I defended Kanye right now? What would your fans say? I just can't even go
Defended
there.
him, dude.
Maybe
You
I
showed
wouldn't
me.
defend him.
You showed
Maybe
me
I
that,
liked what he
and
said.
I liked everything he had to say except for the slavery was a choice.
Right.
I was addicted to opioids. I had plastic surgery because I was trying to look good for y'all. I got liposuction because I didn't want y'all to call me fat like y'all called Rob at the wedding. We are drugged out. We are following other people's opinions. We are controlled by the media. And today it all changes. We need to be free thinkers, then we need to learn how to feel free. People say feel free, but we don't even know how to feel free or think free. We need to talk about our now because we can fix and start loving each other now.
When he said he was talking about the prison,
Brad,
everyone's
turned it
talking about
down.
Kanye though, right?
Yeah. We're not talking about Kanye. I'm just saying in general, people, you can't really say what you mean to
Without
a point,
offending
without
people.
offending everybody.
Everyone's
Yeah.
offended.
And they want to get you
Everyone's
fired.
offended.
No, it's okay if you offend
I'm like
people.
never offended.
Never
Just
offended.
because
That's good.
I've experienced
But
everything.
they say
in my
because you're a
life.
white male. Because you're a white male.
Well, no. Well, it's just because
You know what
like,
I'm saying?
I just understand it. But that's what they'll say. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in
You're not a
because-
Jew. You're
No.
not black. You're what do you have to be offended about?
right.
You know? I don't know. I'm just. I don't know. I'm just. That's what they say. You know. But
Well, so do
I
black
understand why
people
people are offended.
Yeah, I understand too. Like I can understand it, but I just think the world would be better if no one was offended.
no. What's
Yeah.
our what's our
like
role?
especially if it's just jokes, you know.
Yeah.
But then there's always a line, like, because the jokes go a little bit further.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I
a
mean?
thin
Like,
line. But
yeah,
what's our
like
role
you put
here?
something up where it was with the body bags or something. It could have been taken real offensive.
No, they were offended. I
What?
said
Say it.
no. I said
It
that
was that
everyone.
meme.
I know because I was in that group. I was in like a meme group, and you know they make fun of dead people, white people,
Right.
Chinese people, gay people, all that.
Yeah.
And someone made a meme about American soldiers.
Yeah,
and
dead
the whole
soldiers.
group flipped the fuck out.
They all did.
All of them. Like, I'd say 85% of them were like,
Yeah.
take this shit down, this dirty shit. And I'm like,
Dude,
wow.
there's truth in that, though. Like I saw
Well,
it.
I didn't
liked
see it because it said tools, and like with soldiers, and it had them with all their caskets with the flags on them, said tool bags.
tool bags.
Okay.
Right? And I took it as initially, I'm like tools of the government, and when the
Yes.
government's done with them, they put them away in their tool bags.
Yes.
Right? And I think a lot of the sheeple took it as like, oh, they're calling them tools? Like, are they
Right.
dickheads?
That's my
Yeah,
beef, though. People get offended
they'll
by
get
what
offended
they
by
think.
one thing.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
they don't.
They're
they
not
don't
looking
care.
at the whole
And
thing.
it's
No.
their
Yeah.
initial reaction, yeah, and like
Yeah.
their initial
And I didn't
reaction,
take it like that at first,
I
and then
didn't
I was
either.
like, why do people take it like that?
Okay,
I didn't even take it.
Charlemagne the God said, sorry not to cut you off. Charlemagne
yeah.
the God said, I understood what about one part. He
Yeah.
said, I understood what Kanye meant, but he's like, I understood what he meant, but it didn't come off that way, so I'm offended. But like, you just admitted you knew what he meant.
You know what
Yeah.
he meant, but
You
you're
knew what
still
he meant,
offended.
but you're
Yeah.
still, so it's like,
So is that like the he's like jumping on the bandwagon, the offended bandwagon?
so that's just the line I'm talking about. Like, there could be a meme, and you know what it means, and you know what they meant, but because people could take it the other way, they flip out about
they
it.
flip out about it. There's no neutral ground.
There's no
on it.
neutral ground of like, yeah, but I just meant, because I'm going to say some shit too.
I thought it was a heavy meme that you had. That
So you
meme
took it a
put
different
up.
way.
Yeah, like I was like, damn, dude, like there's truth in that because I mean, our soldiers are just sent off to war.
They're tools. They're tools
Yeah,
of war.
they're tools of war, man. And then like I really think that them being called
10-minute limit.
20. It's a
20.
new one. We're coming up a little bit.
No.
And then also the truth hurts.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
the
there's always
truth
that.
hurts.
If it's
I gotta turn
true.
this bitch back on.
Well, I'll just do it real fast. Figured this podcast would be more of a therapy session for us than a promo for you.
Yeah,
you
great.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because it's just like a lot of that.
Everybody
like,
needs therapists.
Yeah, just in my head, I struggle with that, but we have fun. It's more for us.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah,
Dude.
I'm
Like,
excited
it's
to
fun
talk
and
to
it
you.
feels good.
Well, you're
Like, that's the
crossing
thing.
over into not for you anymore territory.
Yeah, I
Is that
know.
what
About
it is?
20th episode, it's gonna not be for you anymore.
No.
No,
Yeah,
Even
it's gonna be
in-
for the listener, for the
yes,
fans.
for the fans.
Yes.
Like the fans will start
I'm
coming
more
out.
Get ready.
conscious of that, but you're still.
I have
more
no
like-
clue, Mike Hitt. Like, he sucked me into this podcast world, and I still don't listen to any. Like, I listen to ours, but that's it. Like, I listen to my music at work, and I'm
Yeah.
starting to listen to books. But, like, I'm fucking clueless
Dude,
when it
the
comes to all
average-
this shit.
I've
But
listened, I
average-
think if you look at my Stitcher, I've listened to 2,500 hours of podcast.
holy shit.
I started on Joe Rogan when it was like episode 57.
I've been getting bored.
He's
with
up to,
Rogan.
like, he's up in the thousands now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
isn't he?
it's been a while.
yeah, like 5 years ago, I was listening to him.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I remember
Oh,
saying
man.
I listened to Joe Rogan, and people would be like, "What do you listen to? Like Fear Factor?"
You were on before me.
And I'm
Yeah,
like,
see,
what?
that's what, when he was saying that, too, I was like, I knew he was kind of a comedian.
I used to run a lot, so that's
Okay.
why. And there's an app called Stitcher Radio. Stitcher Radio has
Yeah.
like everything.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, dude, I couldn't just listen to music anymore.
I
Right.
can't-
It was
it's like my
driving me
job.
nuts.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? And so I'm like, I need something good. And
That's why I got
thank
into
God
books.
I found it.
Dude,
Yeah, that's
it's
why I got
pretty
into
bad.
books.
I can't do anything without that fucking thing in my ear now.
Really?
Nothing. I can't take a shit without something in my ear.
Really?
It's constantly like,
You're listening and you're doing shit on your
dude,
phone,
I'll go
too,
like,
right?
I'll go do laundry, and I just like I'll like play it on my phone. Like it's really fucking bad, dude. Like
You need noise.
Yeah, I need noise.
See, I need music.
What about you? Do you always need noise?
I actually love silence.
Do you love silence?
Do you? I love silence too.
I love
I
it.
like
What's
it in the
wrong with me?
morning and even driving. Like
Yeah.
I'll drive
Oh.
in silence, and it's
Silent
just,
driving. I
Yeah,
drove here in
dude.
silence.
Did you?
Yeah.
I can do that
that's beautiful,
sometimes.
dude.
If I'm in a
It
bad
is.
mood.
I
It's
listened
like you don't
to
even think, or
a
you
little
just
bit
go.
of that new Childish Gambino song. I played that. I
didn't
listened
hear
to
it.
that for a little bit. And then I listened to a little bit of Jim Rohn, and then I was just in silence.
Yeah, the whole way.
Just silence.
Just enjoying the drive,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Here and now.
Wind
Here I
down.
am.
It's so nice out. Like we couldn't have picked a better day to be up here.
That's
too.
what we
yeah, it's
said.
The
nice and
weather's
cool.
perfect.
Yeah, it's not
Perfect.
hot. You
I
can
could
see
imagine
how
summer
big
just getting
I
crazy.
know we're working on it. But
dinner getting made.
I think before break. Well, we're on break. How about we got like a couple minutes left. We'll talk about why you're here
Yeah.
after the break. So
Okay.
stay tuned. We'll talk about
Oh, we're taking a break.
Yeah, we're about-
Yeah, we gotta
about-
take breaks.
Damn,
dude,
man.
I know, right?
like a 2-second break.
Okay.
Yeah. We just
Well,
have to
make
reset
it 1
shit.
second. Let's
Okay.
go.
All right,
Just
we have
break
to
it
keep
up,
going. Yeah,
and then
right.
we'll talk it.
All right.
Break it up. Break it
So
up.
it'll-
About 50 minutes to an hour, but he was like, we could probably talk for
Goes.
10 hours.
10
Because
hours.
you're on your
I know.
promo run.
Yeah.
Yeah, for your new
Dude, I
album.
will say-
Yes.
It's the entire album, right?
No, it's
It's
not
just
an
the
album.
song.
Yes.
I'm gonna give you credit real quick.
Are we recording again?
Yeah, we're recording.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
I've
up.
never seen somebody promo a song
Everyone says that to me.
so hard in my life.
Yes.
You know, seriously, even like main, studio rappers and shit.
Yeah.
So I'll give you credit. Like
Yeah.
you're promoting the shit, and people should watch what you're doing.
Yeah.
And realize one song could be the rest of your life, like a career.
Yeah, it could be.
It's
It
like
could, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. And a lot of people that happens to, and they don't
one
mean
fucking
it.
song.
Yeah.
You know, so put your all into it.
Is it a single off an album?
So, all right, so you gonna let me tell you?
yeah.
All right, let me tell you.
Tell me.
Because I know.
Do you
there's
know
many
this
things
whole
we wanna
story?
talk about.
no, I don't
No,
know.
it's
I don't
not.
think
No,
about it.
so-
We didn't talk about it.
So I'm gonna touch base on this again, just like I did on the last podcast. So I record all these artists, right?
Yeah.
And I opened that studio because I knew all the key components to be an art. At least at that point, I thought I did, right?
Yeah.
So after 8 years of recording other people, watching other people's journeys, taking a couple
Probably fucking learn a lot, dude.
dude, the amount of information I have now isn't just recording music, right? It's
Yeah.
like you said, it's all in like marketing and how you're going to approach it. And I'm like,
It's more important than
I ran from
skill.
I actually
Yeah.
ran from being an artist for like years, probably the past 3 years, right?
Okay.
And
We should.
but I would but I always
It's a tough game,
It's a tough
dude.
fucking
Fucking
gig,
dude.
well,
yeah.
the way I see it too is me being an artist, it's not like it hurts me. It just adds to everything that I am. You know, like media, apparel, recording, artist. So it's not like becoming an artist is going to like distract because it's still in the realm of what I do, right? Yeah, exactly. It's all right in there.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I would record artists, and then we'll say I work 12 to 8, you know, doing sessions.
Yeah.
I would be in there from like 8 till 7 in the morning recording my own stuff.
Okay.
And I've been doing this every couple weeks for the past like 3 years. And I'm like, and really not just recording like to like measure my balls, like, yeah, this is my stuff, this is dope. But now I was on a journey of like really finding my sound, right? Okay. And that's another big thing. So it's like if Jay-Z sang a Beyonce song, it will look out of place, right?
Yeah.
But if Beyonce sang a Beyonce song, it's in place.
Yeah.
And so that's where I am as an artist was I wanted to find, I think some artists do it naturally, some artists, they don't get it, some artists never find it, is like, you know, how are you going to be able to convey your message in a way that's palatable for people who already create their own vision of you in their own mind?
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Jeez,
So it required me, it's required me, you know, one thing I learned being at the studio and having so much interaction with people was I was able to get a general idea of how people see me. Okay. Right, and so that's really important. You have to know how people see you, and you have to come to terms with that. You know,
think that's important?
That's really important. You have to look in the mirror.
If you're an artist,
if you're a person, that's
what
really
about?
important.
Isn't like
they say presentation's everything, right?
Okay, but like, isn't like how you view yourself more important than how other people?
I'm going to get to that.
Okay,
so first you have to understand how people see you, right?
Okay,
and then you have to. Also,
all right, I get that now.
First, you have to see how people see you, and then you have to look at yourself and be like, okay, how do I want to be seen? Okay? And so you realize what people look at you as an imperfection or a quirk, what you see as an imperfection or a quirk, and then you want to kind of marry those two things. That way, when you present yourself, people are like, they can just digest it. Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying? Because it's hard for people to... It's just hard for people to digest things.
Well, how do you see? Let me play a game with you. How do you see like Jay-Z?
Like, okay, so Jay-Z, he plays up hit part. That's an easy one.
All right.
He's a business rapper, right? Who like he has the aura of like the king.
Okay. How do you see Tupac?
Tupac was a rapper for the people.
A preacher.
Okay.
A preacher.
Okay.
Yes.
How do you see Biggie?
And he was also he was able to spin the thug aspect too to make me be like, oh, he's a hard motherfucker too. Like I'd want to like
straight. But he was real calculated.
Yes,
very calculated.
Yes,
Tupac was
very.
Yes, but
he knew what he was.
He knew what he was doing. Yes, and he understood that. Like for one. Like, okay, yes, he's black, right?
Yeah.
His mother was in the Black Panthers. So he had an advantage where he's like, I understand that my people want to hear this from me. Right. And I need to be a voice for these people.
And it really hurt him when he got shot. He said, I knew I was going to get shot, but I never thought it'd be by my own people.
Mm-hmm.
Really fucking hurt him.
Because he loved him. Yeah, because he loved people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That infamous picture of him in the stretcher holding his middle finger out.
That was the changing moment.
Yeah.
But where am I
Biggie.
at?
All right, Biggie. Just keep going. We know too. But all right, I'm gonna do like one more, like Biggie.
You know what's fun? This is
How do you see Biggie?
Biggie's a good one too, right? Because Biggie, this is really great. I saw Biggie as a nothing to something guy, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, he really hustled, and Diddy spun him in a way that like he had two images. I knew that he came from nothing.
Big
he
Papa.
was like rapping, and then he became like Big Papa,
Big Papa, like the big
like a ladies' man. And it was like, how did Diddy spin that? And that was the art. That was Diddy's wizardry.
So you see Diddy as a genius?
Diddy understands the workings of the game. He's like a DJ Khaled in a sense. Like those guys know how you see him.
Okay.
They get that. So then they play that up. It's like Khaled playing up the whole major key positivity thing. Like, he's like that, but he embraced that that's what he was. So he magnified that and gave the people what they wanted.
We the best.
Okay.
We the best. He's on Snapchat. He's on commercials now.
Yes.
He knew it. He knew
it's like they call that selling out / crossing over. Is when you completely understand what it is you embody and then you just embrace that shit. It's kind of like even like trap rappers do that. Like, I got tats on my face. I got crazy hair. Like, Tekashi 6ix9ine is so great at being like, dude, I know that people just see me as a wild gangster thug dude out of control, and I am gonna feed into that fucking shit every second of every day.
Niggas envy, Blicky got the stiffy, got the blicky, drumming hooky slippy,
Can you put some on something real quick?
And,
I fucking love him.
and that's, dude,
Riley loves him.
Okay, because like
not afraid to be what it is that the people want. It's like wrestling almost.
It's like wrestling.
It's
I've always said that if you're, not to cut you off, like
Yeah.
to be a rapper, I think we talked about this before,
Yeah.
if you couldn't fit into a WWE lineup.
Yeah, you said that.
Like Rick Ross, he's a big body.
Yeah.
See him in a video game.
He's in
Wiz
wrestling.
Khalifa, Skinny, like you have to be like in a video game.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
But is it
You
still
get
like
that?
it's kind
A
of? I'm
character,
still
you
back
could be
at
a
like what he
character.
was saying.
All right,
Yeah,
like
no,
it
go
got
ahead.
deep on me, and
Yeah.
I'm like thinking about it. Like I just don't know if
It's like this. Let me
like,
make
you gotta
it.
get back to the point of like where you were going with
What people want.
what people. No, not what people want. Like I don't care. Like I'm like relating it to myself.
Yeah.
Like I don't care how other people see me. You know, and that was something that was fucking with me whenever I was like getting all drunk and on drugs.
Yeah.
Like I cared too much then.
Yeah.
You know, and then when I quit my drugs and I quit drinking and shit, I took an honest, huge look at myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, who the fuck am I? And that's
Yeah.
what I did. I looked back at and I looked at
Yeah.
how other people saw me to see myself.
Yeah.
So I relate with that, like
Yeah.
100%. Because I was like, all right, well, I'm this drunk fucking dad, this.
And you
this,
changed
this.
it.
And I changed it,
Yeah.
right. And so I'm waiting for your part of the story on how to, like, your true self, like how the exterior things don't matter, like, internally. Does that make sense?
So
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, no, I do. It's kind of like when I opened the studio, right?
Yeah.
I opened the studio because I did an analysis of what I was good at, right?
Right.
What was my skill set in life?
Oh, yeah.
Right? So like to someone who didn't do that, they were like, "You're fucking crazy."
Yeah.
But for me, it wasn't fucking crazy because I spent so long doing that.
Doing
Why
that.
wouldn't I push it into overdrive and do that?
Right,
And
right.
so it's kind of like someone being like a nerd, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, why are you trying so hard to be like a muscle man pleasing the ladies? Why don't you just go full on nerd?
Right.
And
Nerd it
then
out.
you make a YouTube like there's the angry video game nerd.
Okay. 'cause
And he
was like fighting the nerd.
fighting the nerd.
You know,
be the nerd. Be
Yeah,
that. Be
okay.
completely what you are.
Right,
You see what I'm
right.
saying? That was the most important. It's kind of like my beard, right?
Yeah.
Like I meet some every once in a while. You could tell when people are uncomfortable, not with just me, but in life in general. Like the other day, a dude came in. He's like, "Are you gonna round off that beard or something?"
It's like my straw.
Your
Yeah.
straw,
People
yeah,
love
right.
me,
Yeah.
make it uncomfortable.
Well, he's like, "You gonna round off?" You know, he came in, he's clean cut, you know what I mean? He got a crispy edge up. And he's
Yeah.
like, "You gonna round off that beard?" And I'm like, "No, why would I?" He was like, "Oh, you know to clean it up." I'm like, "What's wrong with it?" He was like, "I don't know." I was like, "No, I'm just letting my beard
Yeah,
down."
I'm just letting it go.
Like,
yeah,
that's what it is.
just
It's
me,
not like
yeah.
I have a beard because, like, it's a beard to please other people.
Right,
I woke
yeah,
up one
'cause
day
it's
and
the
I was
fucking,
like,
I'm gonna
I don't
grow a
have
beard.
to answer to nobody. And for as long as I don't have to answer no one, I'm just letting my beard grow.
Yeah.
And that's what I
That's
did.
reason enough.
Do you have a
because
goal
it's yours.
with it, or you just whatever?
I don't
You
even
don't
think
want
about
to
it.
go down to your-
I don't even think about it. I just
Yeah,
let it
right.
grow. And I don't even know. It's that people be like, "That's how."
See, I was getting
getting.
crazy judgment about my hair because I decided to grow dreadlocks again,
That's awesome.
and it was all kinds of judgment, like
I'll
mostly
put up
from
a
my
picture. He had
family.
crazy fucking dreads. Before.
I did before, yeah, but I was all on drugs and like. I remember doing it because I wanted to know what it felt like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then my sister looked at me and she was like, "You're on drugs again, aren't you?" And I was.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck, I cut them and I was like, whatever.
Donated them?
And then whenever I got sober again, and we donated them. That's what happened.
That's awesome.
We raised money for St. Jude's.
Yeah.
So then whenever I was getting sober again and I saw myself like as this piece of shit drunk, and that's how I saw myself.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? And I had to like erupt out of that.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what was the last good thing that I did that like felt good? And it was that donating. It was like, you know,
Yeah.
the dreadlock cutting.
You wanted to get
event.
back to that, go on
Yeah,
that
and I was
journey.
like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go dreadlocks again, and I'm gonna fucking donate money
Yeah.
again. You know, to like my choice because
Yeah.
someone picked the St. Jude's, which is a great
Yeah, it's
organization.
great. Yeah.
But so I was like, I'm gonna do it again. And then when I started telling like my family about it, they're like, "Oh God, that's stupid. That's silly. That's silly." So I started
Yeah.
to like, in my head, I was like making up deeper reasons.
Not enough
You know
people
what I
just
mean?
go. Not
Just
enough
let it
people look
be.
at people and they're like, "Man, you're beautiful, man."
Yes,
it's all right.
exactly,
They want
dude.
that
Right?
you to be what they
But then,
want
like,
you to be.
it got
It's
in-
their image.
It got deep
That's
for
what I'm
me.
saying.
Right.
You have to be aware of their image. It's the same thing like a movie actor, right?
Right.
Of course, like it's like the best one was like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
He always got cast for those same roles.
Yeah.
Muscle man with a
Muscle
machine
man with a
gun,
fucking
leather
gun.
jacket, shotgun, punching
the
people in the
day.
face.
Yeah.
But then when he's at home, he's in pajamas, like eating hummus, right?
Yeah, right.
And you're like, and he's watching like fucking Oprah, and you're like, this is, and you're like, well, that's not the Arnold Schwarzenegger I know exactly because he understood how you saw him.
Yeah.
But in order to like put himself, be the voice of the avatar that he is.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
So do you
Do you mean, is that like, are you talking about like being in the public eye?
It's
Like,
just
that's it.
anything. It's just you're a voice. You are. He is. I am.
Oh, keep going.
Oh,
Sorry.
we're a voice.
Yeah.
We're an avatar to a certain person, right?
Okay.
And this is what I was talking about before. Was like, okay, it's kind of like, you know, for me, it's kind of difficult to figure out my avatar only because I relate to so many people and so many things, right? So my avatar kind of is middle class millionaire in the sense where like I get everyone, right?
Right.
So, but like but it's sometimes it's really a lot simpler than that. So we'll say like a stoner dude, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, you're just a stoner dude and you relate to other stoners and your avatar is people who get high. It's like Tommy Chong.
Right,
Like you
right.
know his audience.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like it's not that he's pandering to people. It's just he's fully embodying the avatar that he is.
That's what we're
is.
going through right now. You know what
Okay,
we keep?
yeah,
this
that
we
is
keep
what
getting.
we're
What
going
comment
through.
do we keep getting?
We need a theme.
We need a fucking theme.
We need a theme
People
and we need
can't
topics.
People can't get over.
Like
that.
Joe Rogan is MMA, he's
Yeah.
conspiracy theory,
Right.
and he's fucking like real life.
Yeah,
right.
he's like pro weed.
But
Yes.
what are
But
we?
it's
what
like-
are you?
What
Yeah.
are we?
What are you?
But what I'm saying, that's what we are.
That's
we're
what
not,
we are. We're
that's
like,
our theme
we're just
to me.
starting.
We're
Yeah,
just
and
kinda
like-
just.
Yeah.
And people say, like, I heard it
They
on
keep
Friday.
watching.
Yeah, I heard it on Friday. Like, everything's good. Like, you're entertaining. I don't know why, but you're entertaining. You just need a theme.
Yeah.
And
And
they
like,
keep
it keeps
listening.
like putting me on, and both of us. We'll
Yeah.
both start thinking, well, what's our theme?
Then we're
You
like,
know,
what's a
what the fuck's-
theme?
Yeah, what is a theme? Like, do we need one? Like,
a theme?
oh, it's a
What?
talk show. Like, is that a theme?
Right.
It being a talk show? Because you were like, what about Conan?
Yeah.
No.
Or Jay Leno?
Yeah. Leonard. Like
Yeah,
what's the
like
Leonard's
Puffy
theme?
found the theme for Biggie, a
Yeah.
classy big dude,
Right.
and so he built that up. Or
Right.
like 50 Cent's theme was being a thug.
thug.
Got shot 9 times. Eminem and Dr. Dre were like, we're gonna feed into that shit.
Okay.
So
but I
they're
don't
making
feel like-
money on an image that wasn't necessarily them?
No, because
No, it's
It was
the,
there
it
was
was
a
them.
view-
It was magnified version of them times
Magnified.
10.
Just
Right.
because of the videos and the
And the like
and the hype for
shirt
them?
off, always 6-pack, like pretty women around. Like it's
Yeah,
kind of
but
like the
doesn't that feed into like kind of the bullshit of the society?
But let's just be real. To be an
It's
artist
the
successful,
avatar,
you
though.
do kind of have to sell out a little bit
yes,
to be an artist. Let's just
yes,
be real.
Okay.
you
about
have
it.
to.
all right.
Like you're talking about like spiritual like stuff, but to be an artist, you do gotta give
Yes.
a little of your.
Yeah,
It's
fucking-
about your fans
Giving
and you.
fans what,
Yeah.
what they
you can't-
want.
Yeah, maybe back in the day you could get away, but even then we're more calculated than we thought.
Yeah.
like if you really got into
Yeah.
it, Janis Joplin, I'm sure.
Oh, and Madonna.
Yeah,
Madonna
they were
wasn't yet.
calculated.
Fucking Jim Morrison, and like that was who they were, and people liked it, so they became.
Yes.
But can't that eat you?
It
Like,
does.
they always
It does.
talk about fame,
Look at them.
It does. Yeah,
Exactly.
It does.
So there's
Like
a
Michael
fine
Jackson's on-
line, dude. So are you at the beginning of like jumping into your avatar?
I
Or you
think
you're in
that
there?
I think that I'm already there.
Yeah.
And I think I got there. I think I got there within the past like 2-3
This
years.
is something you got to be careful with.
I think.
Oh my god. Yay! Sorry. this is how it is up here now.
Dude.
Hey,
We did this. We came up here to get away from the.
Dad,
kids and all
Dad.
that.
Yeah,
That's
fucking
so
what the
cute,
fuck
though.
the lie.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
But why?
It's like shit like that. And then
See, I
That's
like
beautiful.
not having a theme and like just being what the fuck, but why? Like maybe our theme is but why.
I feel like some themes can happen organically, and I'm not forcing it. I'm just letting life
happen.
take-
And
Well, you
right
have
now,
to-
We don't have a theme.
You have to take a.
we do.
This is like a marketing. Hey, this is like a marketing thing, though. You have to take a. What you guys
That
are doing right
makes
now,
me think.
you're taking a sample survey right now. This is what you're doing with What the Fuck About Why. These first 20, 30 episodes, right?
Okay.
This is what I always tell artists in the studio. This is one thing I teach them. Is they're like, we'll say someone who never put music out, right? We've recorded 20, 30 songs together, and they're like, Hit, man, you really think people like it? You like this song? Which song you think is my single? Which song do
Yeah.
you think is best? And I'm like, dude, you haven't even put a song out yet. I'm like, I like,
You
it's,
gotta put
like
it
I
out
might
there.
have stuff
You
that I
gotta
like,
put
but you have
your
to put
shit-
it out
Hey,
there
dude, that
and take
takes
a sample
balls.
and
That
take
takes
it
big
takes
balls.
big.
I think this takes. I think
Yes.
this
dude.
takes just
It
as
takes-
much balls as an artist. Does.
So, I felt
No,
it.
you are an artist.
Yeah.
In a way.
This is being
See,
you are
I
an artist. You're a
feel like
podcast
This
artist.
takes balls to do what
I
we
know,
do.
and we've talked about that before.
Right.
Like, and there's a creative side to it that I can't explain, but like it just gets juices flowing that I haven't had flowing in quite some time. You know what I mean? Like just the excitement of it, the newness of it, and where it's going, we don't fucking know. And I think that's the most exciting part.
Like, okay, it would be like me coming out. You know, it's like me dropping a song with Rick Ross content, right?
Sample,
and it's not that I couldn't do that. No, I'm saying like content, like drug lord content. Rick Ross is another great example. Where like I'll never forget the story of watching.
He stole that dude's
no,
name.
No,
Hold
hold
on.
on.
Behind
but
Ross
that's like I'll never forget DJ Khaled telling the story. Rick Ross telling the story about how he kept going to DJ Khaled, and he'd be like, "Yo, listen to my jams," and Khaled.
Yeah, I love
Fuck my bad.
Well, where he said, Rick Ross said, I kept going to Khaled. I'm like, is this it? Before Hustlin' blew him up, right? And he would go to Khaled music. Khaled would be like, that ain't it. And he'd go to Khaled, be like, yo, is this it? And Khaled would be like, that ain't it. And then Ross was finally one day like, all right, Miami, drugs came through Miami. Like, what do I look like? I got this baritone voice, you know? And then it's like, every day I'm hustling, driving down Miami Beach, playing off the Scarface theme. And then it was like, and then Khaled was like, that's it.
Right.
That's it. And then he got behind him.
So it's
and
just
now
a
look at
formula.
Ross's whole career. He's built his career off that
But
sound.
it's fake though, and that's the problem with a lot of people.
Some isn't. There's a
'Cause
difference.
I saw like a documentary on the real Rick Ross.
Yeah, yeah.
The dude from LA that did all that shit. Was the Rick Ross rapper guy like nicknamed Rick Ross before he became an artist?
like it was just a play on all that. It's like Port of Miami. His album was like about the drug trade, drugs coming in Miami.
Right.
That
so
was
he just jumped on board with that. Like I just feel like
But the real Rick Ross reached out to the rapper Rick Ross
and said you took my name. Yeah.
and took his name, and Rick Ross, the real Rick Ross, was like, "Yo, it's cool. I'll let it go. Just meet up with me and let's talk about it."
And he didn't.
and he never did, so they fucking offended him.
Yeah.
Pissed him off. You took my name, motherfucker.
Yes.
All right, that makes sense.
It takes, you know what? And let me tell you something. It takes a long time, bro. And this is why I get very.
I mean, what are you pushing an image or are you pushing
No.
a message? Like, you know what I'm saying? By building, like, okay, Rick Ross built this drug dealer artistry thing.
So because of what I've been through, right?
Yeah.
People, this is a reoccurring theme of my life. Friends, family, clients, people that I know. I know a lot of shit because of what I've been through, right? Like everything from, like, I grew up in an interracial household. Yeah. I grew up broke. I came from nothing. My friends, it's not like I sat at the jock table in high school. I was friends with jocks. I was friends with emos. I was friends with nerdy kids. I was friends with the kids who did drugs. Right. I was friends with everyone. So through all those experiences, I have a lot of input. If someone was like, where do you think I should go in my life, dude? People come to me all the time. They call me, they text me, we talk, and I help them get through their life, right? Okay. So one aspect of what I do is to some degree, I have some answers. I don't have all the answers.
Right.
And so through my music, I kind of want to be able to give people answers to, like, life's problems.
Okay,
right?
So is it motivational?
A little bit. That's a piece of what it is.
Good.
You know what I mean? And then another piece is just motivational slash like driven music. You see what I mean? Like to push you to do more. If I could put into a phrase, my music, I want to be like when you listen to like those inspirational YouTube videos.
Yeah.
But in a song.
I hear you, dude.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude. Absolutely. That's sick.
And I might.
I've always wanted to write songs. I've told you I wanted to be a rapper.
You know what you should do? Will you one time remember that song you showed me? What's that movie? That early movie?
Don't say anything about that. I don't even want to talk about that.
What the fuck happened?
Don't ever bring that up.
That was an amazing song.
Because that's coming. But I don't even want to talk about that.
Okay.
I don't even want to talk about that.
All right.
Keep that under
Is that how Eulogy is, though? Give me a vibe. Like, what's a vibe? Like,
Eulogy is
it dark?
What style
yes, it's
is
very
it? It
dark.
looks dark. The way you're promoting
is it long?
looks dark.
No, it's very short.
It's short.
Is it?
It's Eulogy. It's funny because Eulogy is a song and a video, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a video.
Yes.
Did you shoot the video?
It's done.
It's been done.
We've been working on
How many times have you watched it? How many people have seen this?
about 4.
4 people.
Yeah.
They're all sworn.
Did you
to
do the
secrecy.
artwork or did somebody else do the artwork?
It was a collaboration. Because you know me, I'm real hands-on with like everything
Yeah.
that I do. But we've been working on this since last August.
Okay.
Right?
Holy shit.
So when we started filming it, it was August 24th, 2017. That was the first day we filmed.
Okay.
Okay. And then I was like, okay, I'm thinking about my Facebook audience. I'm thinking about my social media audience. Thinking about the people that I know. And I'm like, okay, I could just put out a song and a video. But I'm like, that's only going to be one angle of this, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, how can I accompany this to where it all drips back to that and it all is relatable to, like, my content, my avatar, my audience, everything. Okay. So I'm like, people are always like, why don't you do a podcast, right?
Yeah, I've always said that to you.
Yeah, everyone says that.
Yeah,
so I'm like, why don't I do this mini-series where I give what they want, me talking about life and all that. Yeah. I give you all them videos, but then we also touch, then it all drips and ends at this video and song that all is related to the same message. So like whenever you get, the beautiful part is whenever you get to the video and the song, when you get to the video and the song, it's like a ring of things and it all relates to each other.
Okay.
So we made like 30 pieces of promotional content, right? From videos to the pictures to everything. But it all hugs the final thing for May 21st.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
You like your 30 days because you did the 30 and 30.
Yes.
100 or what was that?
Oh, 100 days. First 100 days of the year.
Yeah, first 100
days. And that taught me too, because let me tell you something.
Well, tell Luke about what was
that. So I did. You have to watch it. I'll share it with you whenever, tomorrow, whatever. But so last year, 2017. Starting the first day of the year, I counted all the way to 100, right?
Okay.
And every day I posted on Facebook, never missed a day, 1 of 100, 2 of 100. Yeah. And it started off with like a couple likes, my usual likes, right? Yeah. And by the time I got into like the 80s, 90s, dude, hundreds of people were like, really? What do you have, right?
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah, right.
And then I finally, and then at the end of that, I released a video discussing saying, hey, we're 100 days into the year already because people don't pay attention. And I'm like, I was all related to, I have a goal, right? So one of my goals, my giant goals is to live to 100 years old, right? Okay. So I always try to do things to take care of myself, like spiritually, mentally, financially, socially, whatever, right? Yeah. And so like that was all incorporated into this. I want to live to 100 years old, and what have I done in the first 100 days to even be proactive against that?
It's so cool you can do shit like this.
But that the pros of social media. We were talking about the cons last
night. What were you putting in your post? You were just putting one of 100 and 2 of 100. That was it.
That was it. Yeah, 100. I had like the 100 emoji.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, keep it 100.
Kept doing it
and
it
had,
day.
dude. And when I posted it, it had hundreds of shares, hundreds of views, thousands of views.
So you built it up like amazingly. It's like the female orgasm. Right?
I kept working it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you gotta start off slow. That's what you were doing. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Get the juices going.
Hey, your phone?
Not my phone.
Shit.
Not my phone.
Yeah, I'm hooked up to the thing. I have it off, but it's hooked up to my speaker.
Yeah, but that taught me, right? So last year, that was like I said, eulogy is a culmination of all my mistakes, all of other people's mistakes, all of other people's good decisions, my good decisions, where I'm like, okay, if I'm going to put out the song and video, I need to take all the good, rework all the bad. And now, life is about, people give up. When they hit 30, they give up. 35, they give up. Right?
There's a midlife crisis point.
Yeah. It's getting earlier and earlier, I think.
Yeah, it's getting a lot earlier now. Yeah, people are 25, like, I'm getting so old. I'm like, what the fuck?
You see it on Facebook.
And it's funny, how old are you?
35.
35. All right, I'm 37.
32.
And, I'm to the point where, I don't feel old.
No.
I know I don't act old.
Yeah.
I hear it all the time from my parents.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why I feel so good.
Yeah.
Do you believe in growing up?
No, I just believe in evolution.
Yeah,
I just believe in the evolution of yourself, and that's where I'm at with this. That's what I'm telling you.
Okay.
Is like this was, if I want to live to 100, technically I'm only 35% through my life. That was part of that first 100 days video, and that's what I was telling people. We're like now, I'll never forget when I was really young, I was like 12 or 13, and I would always jump around to things, right?
Yeah.
And I remember my stepdad, and this stuck with me like crazy. And my stepdad was like, you know what your problem is? And I was like, what? He was like, you never stick with things long enough to see the end result.
Yeah.
And he said that when I was like 11.
Right.
And that stuck with me. And that's why I stuck with the studio. I stuck with the So Berg shirts. I made a plan to do podcasts and stick to the plan.
Yeah.
And ever since he said that, that stuck with me because I'm like, what if I would have gave up on music last year?
Right.
I wouldn't even be at this crazy run of people being like, eulogy, like this run. And it's taking me my whole life to make these tools and learn all this stuff in order to realize the vision that I have in my mind, and you can't expect to do that in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years.
It takes time,
it's a
man.
constant, like, now everything I know now is a result of me just stacking up the mistakes and the wins and losses like that.
Yeah, you
and
can
if I were to
describe
stop
it
now,
like that.
this is where I'm at. And like they say, like the guarantee way to lose is to give up, right?
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, man, I need. It was like I had a conversation with God. The voice that I tried to have through my clients, right? Because I really uplift my clients. I really love my clients. I don't think they understand that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I get to be personal with them. I know them like this. Like, we
Yeah.
talk like this every session the past 8 years for 1,000 sessions, 10,000 songs I've recorded, right?
It's like
Yeah.
the barbershop.
Yes,
Yeah,
and they
right.
don't. Yes, and they don't understand. Like
Men need that
They don't.
sometimes,
Yeah, and they don't
too.
understand. Like I know their losses, their friends who got shot, the babies they've had, the love that they've lost, the financial hardships they've had. Like they don't understand. I love them, right?
Yeah.
And so I was always trying to get them to a place where I envision them as people and as artists, right? But what you have to understand is, unless people are ready for that, they're never going to live up to that.
Yeah.
And I was trying to live my energy through them.
Okay.
Because I believe that I can. I believe that I'm capable. I believe that anything
Of
is
rising
possible
people up?
and lifting them up.
Okay.
But some people don't want to be lifted up. It's like the saying.
They're stuck.
It's like the saying. Don't try to teach a pig how to fly. It's only going to make you mad and piss the pig off.
Okay.
Right? Because they don't want to. They don't give a
Right.
fuck about flying. They don't have wings. They just want to play in the mud, and they want to be fried up and eaten as bacon. That's all they
Okay.
give a fuck about.
Okay.
And that's how people, that not all people, but that's how a lot of people are. They just want to live right here.
Yeah.
And right here is good enough for them. And I've learned that if that's good enough for you, that's good enough for me.
you. Right.
And I need to live my voice from my voice.
Yeah.
And I need to give my message from my brain. You
Right.
see, and it does take a lot of balls. You said it takes a lot of balls to do what you do. It takes a lot of balls to be an artist.
Yeah.
And it's the scariest thing I've ever done, because now I'm entering into territory where I could be publicly judged for like what I've done, right?
Yeah.
But I can't be afraid
You
anymore.
can't be scared of that shit.
But
dude.
No.
let me say something. Let me
No
say
more
something.
fear.
Right.
And I want to show
And
my
it's
clients
a lot of people
to
that are
do
stuck
it.
in the mud. They're probably still scared of the fear.
Scared.
They're still scared.
They're scared.
All right, I
It's
just
a
thought of
scary
something.
world, and it's a lot of judgment. People fucking. It takes big balls to put yourself out there, and everyone's got their fucking gavels, especially on social media. When you're putting yourself out into the world
Everybody
like that,
judges.
dude.
They
You
judge.
could
Yeah,
sneeze
like-
wrong, and they'll be
and
like,
like-
"Oh, you fucking."
He didn't care that he said his mom just died. Why would he sneeze right there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
yeah, right, right.
Then.
Yeah, right
It's like,
then.
what the
He's
fuck?
gonna
Right.
Let me say something. Like, because you kept talking about, like, Mike was saying that sometimes you need to know what the audience wants.
Yeah.
And to be true, I feel like they both can live together.
They do.
Yes,
They
that's
can.
what I was looking
You're not
for.
necessarily selling out. It's just understood. Like, we know what they like. We know what people think are funny, right?
Yeah.
They know when I go off on my rants and you're Luke Lackawanna.
Yeah.
So if we do it, that's not fake. We just know what the audience,
so you're
right?
just-
Is that
okay,
kind of what
yeah,
you're
I see
saying?
what
Like
you're
a little
saying.
bit.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. It's like, with great power comes great responsibility, right?
Yeah.
I'm not telling you that there isn't people that abuse that power, right?
Okay.
Because it's kind of like, I'm not trying to go on a political tirade, but everyone knows that's how Trump won, right? He
Yeah.
spoke to the people who he knew no one was speaking to, right?
And he used fear.
Yeah, he used fear, but he also used fear on the people that he knew were listening to him, right?
Yeah.
Right. And so in that situation, that was a manipulation of himself.
That's why, like, when the Nazi people were protesting, he knew he couldn't. Remember, he was like, "There's good people there and there." He knew that's his base. That's his, like, the only ones who are lifting him up. How could he crush them right then?
Yeah.
And I understood it. Like,
and he had to walk that line.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he did, like, carefully, kind of, without. He always does that. He says enough that you can kind of, like, interpret it. You know.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah.
And that was a manipulation of power.
Okay.
You know, now some people, they use the power for good. You know, you're using it for good. It's not that you're being fake. It's just like you have an understanding and awareness of yourself, of your surroundings, of your audience, of everything. And so you're like, okay, how can I just, you know, give them what they want?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not like McDonald's is fucking, you know.
But staying true to yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
some stay true to themselves, but some sell out and manipulate the situation. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. That's a hard line to walk.
People get in your ear too. There's managers.
Yeah,
promoters,
you need to do this. Dress like it's like I'm sure they tell girls, "Hey, you need to show a little skin." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like shit like that.
And Katy Perry, she was like a good girl.
Yes,
like she's all whored up on.
Yeah, like that's a great example. Like a lot of times you'll see like a nice
in churches and shit.
Yeah, like but you'll see like a nice good girl, and then you go on a Maxim website, and they're like, "Here's sexy pics of the Wonder Years old star."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Why does she need sexy pics?" That's because they know that us who watch it as kids are like, we're adults now, so we're like, I want to see the sexy version of Winnie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like Kelly from Saved by the Bell.
Yes, yes.
Playboy pictures or something.
I missed that.
That is that awareness.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dude, all right, this is going to be like a weird segue, which we always struggle with, that fucking word.
Yeah.
You know, I had an epiphany, okay? I figured something out. You know how, like, hip-hop is so popular right now?
It's gigantic.
You know why? Because kids like to rebel, right? Kids listen to what their parents hate, what people hate, right?
Right.
And that's hip-hop. I wonder right now if Kurt Cobain put out Smells Like Teen Spirit right now, like, would a lot of these kids listening to hip-hop jump to grunge? Because grunge was anti-establishment, anti-government, and I feel like there's just not that right now. It's rap or American Idol. There's, like, Maroon 5.
Yeah, you're right.
There's
it's truly pop or rap.
Or rap.
Yeah.
You know, and there's rock and stuff, but where? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, where?
Well,
like,
it gets like frowned on. You know, the guy playing at the bar with his guitar is like frowned upon because he's not on American Idol and he's not popping.
Right.
So it's like, who are you? What are you doing?
So I feel like eventually there's going to be something that comes, and there just has to be. It always happens. You know what I mean? But it is funny.
Well, like grunge is going to come back or something?
Something has to happen. There has to be something.
There has to be. No, I've just like a stir of the pot. Yeah. It's like all of this. It's like the food has just been sitting there.
Kind of
right?
like 6ix9ine.
See, that's
He comes in, it's like rap, rock, and then like it's slowly something's gonna jump off that, and it's not even rapping.
Like
anymore.
he was
it's
a stir of the pot.
Yeah, he was a stir of the pot.
Was he?
Yeah, he was.
But he's
See,
also,
I mean, the music that I listen to, I was thinking about this the other day, how Sublime. They were geniuses.
Yeah,
how
they
did the
blues that up, right?
from punk.
No, he's OD.
He
right?
OD'd, yeah. But he mixed punk rock and reggae. You know what I mean? And I thought that because punk rock and reggae, they're saying a lot of the same shit.
Yeah.
You know, they're pissed
Well,
off.
they came out at a time when it was like Incubus. It was like
what year did they come out?
Sublime was like in the early 90s.
Yes, and
Early
that was
90s?
that
Early
whole
90s.
like beach rock
rock.
type like trippy. You see what I'm saying? So that all worked. That was like Incubus. That was Limp Bizkit. That was like
Was that Limp Bizkit?
No, Limp Bizkit was
Limp
later.
Bizkit was like 99, right?
Sublime was pretty
Who
early.
was with Sublime though?
They were like on their own, dude.
You think
that's what
so?
I'm saying.
That's what it was?
Yeah. Like they
Alright.
stirred the and like now that's a lot of the music that I listen to. Did you ever hear the Dirty Heads?
Oh yeah, the Dirty Heads, Revolution,
Fucking Iration.
A Stick Figure.
Yeah, Stick Figure. That's all the stuff I'm into now.
I love that.
Yeah, and like I just think that the way that they mixed the two genres was just so important, you know. And like when you guys talk about hip hop, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
He knows more than
I know
me about other
everything.
stuff.
Yeah.
What's funny is, now that's another thing, right? is hip hop is like 15% of my playlist. You know, like
really?
I said, like I just named, like someone wouldn't know Stick Figure unless they listen to Stick
Yeah,
Figure.
right. Unless
You know what I
listen to
mean?
it.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
you listen to all that shit.
Yeah, I listen to everything, and it's like I listen to old Donny Hathaway, and I listen to podcasts, and I fucking listen to pop music. Like I'll listen to Katy Perry. I'll
Yeah.
listen
Me
to
too. I
fucking
do too. Though.
yeah. I'll listen to everything because
See, that's like Dirty Heads and stuff like that, which we were talking about earlier, how like it's motivational. Like I started listening to all that music whenever I quit drinking, and I was really getting into like reggae and these different reggae fusion bands, or whatever the fuck they call it, and it's very positive.
Yeah, it is.
And it's very like
it's about your
uplifting.
life. Where are you
it's
going?
It's about your life, where you're going. Like
what are you
know,
doing?
be kind to each other. Like
tell
me
the
what
world you're running from.
Yeah,
I know.
And fucking, it's like that's all. Like that's what I had to immerse myself in, was that type of positive energy. So that type of music is like
I go through
deep
phases
within
too.
me,
Like
man.
I listen to that for like months, right? Especially when I go to the beach. Like sometimes we go to the beach with people, and that's when I go to the beach. That's all I listen to on the beach.
That's all.
And people will be like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "I'm
it's so
you,
good, man."
Everybody's like, Luke, will you turn that fucking reggae shit off?
Yeah, you know what? People hate reggae.
My wife is killing me.
Can I say
on that.
something though? Everybody says hip hop sounds the same, but to me, reggae sounds like the same song over and over and over and over and over.
is.
And I can get down with it, but like it sounds like the
Well,
same
that's because
song.
it's the same. It's the same chord structure. It's the same. Of blues music all sounds the same.
It all sounds the same.
Jazz has
Chord
a lot of
structures
sound.
are the same.
Doesn't hip hop get
chords.
that all the
Hip
time?
hop
It sounds
has
the
it like
same.
trap. It depends on
See,
the hip hop.
the
Like
new-
trap music all has the same minor
That
chords.
stuff sounds the
melodies,
exact
kinda-
same to me.
Yeah.
Like I don't listen to it.
I don't know. It's just something I.
Like
Yeah.
every Bob Marley song is the same minus like 2 keys.
Really?
Yeah.
They just play it differently.
Yeah, or
They
different
speed
rhythm.
it up or
Yeah.
different rhythms.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, could we take one more break? I want to
No.
get together
Yeah.
equipment together real fast.
Yeah, go.
Then
We'll
we'll
take a
end
break.
it. We'll do like take a break.
Yeah.
End
All
it.
right.
All right. Break.
Yeah.
Break.
All right.
Yeah, we're recording.
All right. We're back from the final break.
All
See,
right.
you
So,
said
yeah,
you,
we
you
need a-
said you had the boogie, right?
We need a proper
And
send
And
off.
this is
and all
how
that.
what you're gonna find out. Everything does change when you have a kid. Because you have to go to a goddamn baseball game.
tournament.
And it's like
tryouts.
little things like that make it hard.
Dude, the time gets filled up.
it's hard.
Like, real quick.
You know what I'm saying, Mike? It's
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, like we got kids. Like I run my own business. You got a busy job.
It's hard, and we're trying
Yeah,
to
that's
just
what I was
fucking
saying on
fit
the
everything
break.
in.
Like you're blessed to have the time to do this.
It's nice.
You know what I mean?
I was just smart enough to keep pulling out. That's all.
I'm fucked, man.
I don't feel the pressures of society like 98% of people do.
Yeah.
Because when I had nothing and I was completely homeless, I had no pressures of society. And it was me that said, you have a choice right now.
There's a freedom there.
I could start shooting up with needles,
Yeah.
like all the people around me are doing. Or I could be like, all right, I could eventually end up to where I'm on podcast talking in 15 years.
Yeah.
And chase my dream, right? And so whenever you took so much self-control, it's really hard to be under anyone's control.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I know.
Yeah, that's true, dude. That's almost like I don't know, it's like a break of your personal ego.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just, this is where I gotta go, and this is where I'm gonna go. Like, no, because...
No fear.
But I'm sure a lot
fear,
of
dude. And,
yeah, the fear. But I'm sure a lot of people listening can relate to what we're saying because they have kids too, and they want to
Yeah.
be an artist, and they're like, "Fuck!" Like,
yeah, like there's no
where's
time to
the-
do it. And the pressure
and
of
there
the
is
society,
time.
like that is the society suck. Like we gotta work so much, man.
I know.
Like I gotta work so much just to keep the fucking bills paid and the fucking food on the table.
But then I always think what our pap said to us one time that because we consume too much. That's
yeah,
why.
as a
I just
society.
I got a big TV. Did I need that big TV?
Oh, I'm a
Yeah.
minimalist, too. That's another thing.
Yeah.
Like, massive minimalist.
And I know you agree
Really?
with what
Yeah.
I'm saying right there. People like will bitch that they're broke, and then go look in their house. Like, did you need that Xbox?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
you
Did you
right.
need that new car?
No.
Yeah.
You have an old car.
Yeah.
You rock the old car.
I love it.
You love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love my truck too, dude.
You love your
I
truck.
I mean,
love
but
my
here's
truck,
what's funny,
yeah.
though. People will get in my car, because this is one thing, right? I always take care of my things.
Oh, do you?
So people will get in my car and be like,
I don't.
but people have gotten in and they would
That's
be
when you
like,
guys separated
dude,
a little bit.
yeah, but people will
Yeah.
get in and be like, dude, is
So
this a
nice.
brand new car or whatever? And I'm like, no,
Really?
it's just
No.
I just
Just take
found
care
a
of your
deal. I
shit.
took care of it. I put a nice stereo in it. You know what I mean?
right.
You're a smart man. You know, is your last name really Hitt?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mike
is
I was
it?
talking to my wife
It's
about that.
HITT?
H-I-T-T.
Yeah, that's a sign from God.
Yeah.
Next podcast.
Next podcast.
I didn't realize how religious you were.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You go to church every day?
Oh, that's you. No, I don't go. I actually come from a family who didn't go
We're on
to church
episode
at all.
11. He doesn't know how to mute his phone yet.
Oh,
but-
fuck off.
No, but I just know that there's something just bigger than this.
You think it's a being?
Not God, but just something bigger? Or do you,
Yeah.
you say God a
Is it
lot.
a being or a
Yeah,
force?
God. This is a theory of mine, right? I'm just going to touch on this because this could go on for hours too.
Yeah.
But my theory is that the black space. They always say there's like dark matter and the darkness in space.
Yeah.
My theory is like it's kind of like blood cells being in blood. Like blood cells don't realize that they're in liquid, right?
Right.
They're just floating around, right?
Right.
And I believe that we're either A, part of a gigantic being. We're like a blood cell. Like Earth is no different than a blood cell.
Okay.
Or someone manufactured this, like we're like an ant farm almost.
Right.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Like,
And-
like,
Like an alien type
wise.
thing?
yeah, like maybe something so big that we would never see it. Like an ant doesn't see us.
Right.
Right? An ant only sees where it's at.
Yeah.
And I believe that, I mean, right now there could be a huge face looking at us
Something
from
like
outside
that.
of the entire universe.
I know.
Yeah, right.
And we would never know.
I know.
But like, if like I can understand that one. So did they just start it and then they pulled back and now they're watching the fucking magic happen?
Well-
like let's start these little humans down on this ball and see how bad they
Well,
fuck
no,
up. and see
We're
if they
creating
thrive.
universes like
Yeah.
virtual reality and stuff.
Yeah.
Like we're about to be that for
We
stuff.
are like in a lot of the
Yeah.
video games and shit.
robots. We're gonna be their god.
Yeah. I mean,
Kind
look,
of.
because I don't care if you're God, if you're human, if you're whatever, there's still an element of unpredictability when you're growing anything. You're growing plants, you're making a podcast, you're putting yourself out into the world. You could try to come up with 10 million ways of how it's going to like outcome, and there's going to be a 10 million and one that happens.
That happens.
It's
Right.
kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah,
when
yeah,
I put
yeah.
the studio together. This is a great example, right? There's like a corner. I have this huge desk, right, and there's a corner on the desk. And I put these little. I was like, I told my friend, like, right when we were about done, I'm like, I gotta put foam things on the corner. And
Yeah.
he's like, people ain't gonna hit them corners. Let me tell you something. One week went by where I was like, all right, and I was like, dude, I was like 20 people hit
Hit
themselves
their
on the
fucking
corner.
selves
of that
on
desk.
them. Yeah,
That's like
right,
our
dude.
life.
That's like a profit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you just
you call
just
it.
know like.
Oh, I got
Yeah.
profit
Anytime,
competition.
and
Yeah,
like,
right,
like,
right.
yeah, or
Profit.
like your daughter or something, like be like, oh, she won't pull that off the table. Like she will, then she's
And
gonna
then
pull
she's
it off
gonna
the table.
pull it off. So
Yes.
like the energy's out there, and then it happens.
But I
It
do
happens.
I do
Okay.
struggle with like, say I'm having a hard time, okay, and I get through it. I don't feel God. I feel me just getting my shit together and doing it. I just like don't feel this like energy. I just feel me.
Because you might have not put your.
Me.
This is something else I've done. I feel
Oh,
me
good.
too.
Yeah.
I do it.
But I've gotten to a point, it's probably just like the past year actually,
Not
where
thinking
like
him.
I put the power in God's hands.
Okay.
In a sense where.
I guess that's where I
Or
just,
like you just kind of let it flow.
And I just, yeah, and I'm not, like, I think people think too much, right?
Yes,
And
that's
you
how
got
I
to
am.
put it in God's hands, like just like I did the studio or anything. That was, when I did the studio and I did the shirts, when I did all that, it was almost like God was experimenting with me to be like, all right, are you going to put this in my hands and believe your intuition?
Or are you gonna try
or are you
too
going to
hard?
try too hard?
Right,
You
right.
know, and everyone around me was going against God's word, like, how are you going to make money in the studio? How are you going to get clients? How are you going to do that? You know what I mean? And when I said, I always go back to that. Because now I'm unbreakable, right?
Yeah, right.
Because I've already experienced my intuition being like, no, that's truly what you have to do.
Right.
Don't worry, it's going to happen.
yeah, I have good
And
intuition.
it's like
too.
I call it instead of calling it God, I like to call it the universe.
The universe.
You-
Like letting the universe.
I like that.
Take
Yeah.
care of like
I like
things
that.
and trying too hard. I was always trying too hard with certain things in my life.
Yeah.
And whenever I'd let it go, and just kind of go with like, okay, so this is happening now, so put all my attention on this, and it's really very zen, like living
Yes.
in the now.
Oh, how much time we have left? Hold on.
This is-
Just
Because I want to make sure I say my stuff at the end.
okay. Let me say something and then say your stuff, and we're done.
Okay, good.
fine.
Let
yes.
social
Good.
prophet say his point. All
Yes.
All right, that's right. You
Yes,
didn't even
King.
get to the
Yeah,
king.
social prophet
Yeah,
needs a
right.
moment. The princess,
Social
the
prophet
princess of
needs a
Y.
moment.
That's what it is.
What's it
The
called?
princess of Y.
The
Church
the
of
prophetic
Y.
Is
princess.
this still filming? Is
Yeah.
it we good?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I think a lot of the time religion is like a placebo effect. One time there was this house they said was haunted. Our friend, right?
yeah.
It was an old funeral home.
Yeah.
I went into the bay. They kept saying it's haunted, it's haunted, it's haunted. They're like, I dare you to lock yourself in this room for 5 minutes with like where they used to do the bodies and shit. I was like, oh hi and shit. I was like, fuck it, I'll do it. Okay, I did it, and when I was about to leave the room, there was like a presence that like wouldn't let me open the door. You know I don't bullshit about that because I don't believe in nothing.
Yeah, right.
That presence wouldn't let me open the door, and it almost like threw me back. And ever since then, I'm like, but was that in my head? Because they told me that. If they never told me it was haunted, would have that moment happened?
Right.
I don't know. Same with religion. If you never knew about religion and God, and if something happens, you wouldn't think to think of God or blame God or
Right.
thank
It's
God.
taught.
It's taught.
Right, right.
So that's my point. We'll get into all that.
I think
next
there's
time.
a lot of shit like with
I can't wait till
diagnosis
next
of
time.
things.
Yeah,
I wanna next
I
time.
want to
When
do
you're
it
getting
again.
like
We're gonna
even
do
with
it.
diagnosis, like you could be diagnosed as depressed and told you're depressed.
Yes.
I want to
you
be
know?
the Duncan Trussell of Joe Rogan. I
Yeah.
want to be on like every 7 or 8
Okay,
episodes.
Oh yeah, what the
Mind
fuck?
you.
But why, dude? We got
Yes.
Mike Hitt
I mean,
coming every month.
we just have so many guests coming
Yeah, I
in.
know,
So
dude.
many.
We're loaded for right now. There's tons of them.
But we have to end it with what? What do you want to say?
What do you
Get
wanna
your
say?
shit off. Get your shit
I just
off.
want to say my name is Mike Hitt. I have Eulogy is coming out Monday, May 21st, 2018. I don't have a specific time. Just know it's coming that day. If you want to find out more about me, you can go to Mike Hitt. That's 2 T's, MIKHITT.net, MikeHitt.net. You can find out about Eulogy. You can find out about my videos and music and what it is that I do. And you'll find out about this podcast. I post everything there. And I just wanted to thank What the Fuck But Why. You know, Jason has always been really supportive of what I've done. I've supported what he's done.
Yes.
And that's another God moment where it's like that we have no reason. That's the beauty. I always tell my friend that. That's the beauty of this relationship is you have no reason to give a fuck about me, and I have no reason to give a fuck about you, but we do.
Yeah.
And that if you really stop and appreciate that for a moment, it could almost just bring you to your knees in appreciation.
That's the beauty of life,
That's
dude.
beautiful.
It's a beautiful
Kind, love,
yeah, and creativity, and just like
all helps.
spread it, man.
Yes.
Spread the fucking love.
Yes.
I love when you're talking about artists saying artists listen to artists about I could do better than that. I can be
Rather
better
than
than
just being
that.
like this.
That's cool, man. That dude killed that
Yeah,
shit.
right,
It's like
right.
hating on it.
Yeah,
Just listen
no,
to
it's
it.
bullshit.
It's
Yeah.
inspired.
Or like as soon as it comes on, they'll be like, oh, I like that beat or I don't like that beat. And I'm like, just don't like or not like anything.
Yeah,
fucking
right. Just
let it
be.
hit you.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
be.
Just
Yeah,
be.
try and see it from their perspective.
Yeah.
Try and relate to what they were trying to
Songs
get off.
grow on me all the fucking time.
And they should
Movies grow
react.
on me.
Yes.
Shows grow on me.
Yeah,
But even the artists will do it too. Like they'll be like, I don't listen. People inbox me all the time. They'll be like, "Will you listen to my song? Give me feedback." I tell everyone I don't give anyone feedback. I say it's nothing personal. I believe what you're doing is great, and I think you should keep doing it.
Yeah,
I tell
there you
everyone
go,
that who
dude.
inboxes
Yeah,
me.
dude, that's
Yeah,
it. Put that on a t-shirt, man.
because they'll be like, "So what do you think?" Do you like? And as soon as I go, "Well, this was," "Oh, well, fuck you then."
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And I'm
What
like,
do you know?
"Yeah, so
right,
I
yeah.
quit.
Yeah.
I don't give any
Right.
feedback."
See, and
People can't take it.
I've been hearing your feedback through him about what we're doing here.
Yeah.
You even show off
And
your shirt, dude.
what's that?
You even show off your
Fucking
goddamn
undressing.
shirt.
Oh yeah, I got fuck yeah,
Life
dinosaurs.
finds a way.
Yes, it does. Life finds
what
a
he
way.
says.
Yeah, it is, right?
Perfect fucking time. God damn it. Yeah, sure.
I forget what I was saying, Jason.
Sorry, I do that to you all the time.
you
You do it
fucking
to
trust
me.
me, yeah.
I think that
I
you
can't
two shouldn't
remember.
give up though.
But no, I hear. Oh, we're not. Like, there's
I think you should keep going. I think you're
Yeah.
still in your sample survey period.
Sample survey.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just like the studio. I was in a sample survey period, and you know, now I kind of know even who my studio clients are. I know what they look like, what
Yeah.
they're, you know.
Well, this is the first one we did where we're introducing us to your audience.
yeah, and I'm gonna
Yeah,
introduce.
it is.
It's just been our audience.
Right, and we're gonna
Yeah.
mix things,
Mix.
and I
I'm
think
gonna
that
introduce
that's
you
so
to mine
cool.
and all that.
like, this is actually a punk rock band.
Yeah,
a
oh,
friend
yeah.
of mine. Oh, it's my wife's friend's
Anyway.
boyfriend. Yeah, whatever, dude. But I like them.
Promote them. I'm so burned.
Yeah, right.
MCM, what the fuck, but why?
Yeah.
I'm glad we had you, Mike Hitt. I'm so
MCM
burned.
Studios.
My mom keeps being like, I want a shirt. She loves that goddamn shirt.
Yeah, that's hers now, right?
Nah, it might be a little big. All right, next time. You'll be on.
You'll be on. Again. Yeah.
I want to come on like 20. That'd be great.
All right,
Yeah.
20. We'll do it.
Yeah, we'll do it. Or 21.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we'll keep
All
it
right,
at
did
the
it?
1.
Wow.
All right.
All right,
Episode
peace.
11.
Yep,
See
we're
Mike
out.
Hitt again on 21.
Peace.
For a long time, I know. He's going.